the NHS. And the person who's Malcolm Butler? Hello, Malcolm. Off you go.
I'll just use my voice for a minute.
Yeah, fine.
The NHS is often, the NHS is often banded around in elections, and it tends to be used as a British totem, as if it's the Beatles or the Queen or something like that. Do the candidates not agree that the NHS was essentially a socialist idea created under a socialist system that can only be sustained under that economic model?
Thank you.
Quite like that. I think that kind of sums it up, really. And we need to go back to that time. Do you know what I mean? We need to go back to, we need a radical solution to where we are now. And, you know, we created the NHS in 1945, the Labour government, and we will save it in 2019, and that's what it needs. And what we will ensure is that it's not sold off to Trump, which is what Johnson wants to do. And, you know, they haven't denied it, you know, and it's a real worry that, you know, if Labour doesn't come into government, that the Lib Dems will go into coalition with the Tories, and we'll see exactly what Johnson wants to do with the NHS. So I think if you want to save the NHS, we want to make sure that the NHS is there for the next generation, then absolutely, let's have a socialist government and let's run this country for the many.
Deborah, thank you.
Not quite a hostile environment, but nonetheless, the NHS is not for sale under a Liberal Democrat government, would not be at all. And it's run under socialist terms now. We all contribute to the NHS. We would ask people to contribute just a little more on a broader tax base so we had more money to invest in the NHS. Just taxing the rich to invest in the NHS is not going to make it much better. We have to have a broad tax base. It was mentioned earlier that it was the mental health was all the Labour Party. Not true. The Liberal Democrats, Norman Lamb, brought in mental health to be the equivalent of physical health when they were in coalition. So I think that we would uphold the NHS. It is not for sale. It needs to be invested in. We need to stop Brexit so that we can have the free movement of people, so that we can actually get the staff that we need to work in the NHS. We've got to get the bursaries back to nurses here so that they can train up, so that we have the staff in the NHS for that. And we have to look to the future, because we have to invest in the future technologies that would help us. Stopping the urgent care centre in Middlesex Hospital, there was a big question that wasn't asked of the survey, wasn't asked by the people there. It's like, what do the people who go to the Middlesex urgent care really need? Now, they don't need a telephone at the end of the line, as Dawn was saying. That's true, they don't. But only 3 people a week actually needed the urgent care when they showed up. The problem was that they didn't know what they should do when they got sick. They didn't know that there were alternatives. Now that's a failing of communications. That's a real failing of communications. You've got to let people know what the alternatives are. Our systems are changing. There will be more technology. There will be e-consults. It's happening. We have to be prepared for that. We have to be prepared for that. The NHS is a wonderful institution. It is not for sale under the Liberal Democrats, and the Liberal Democrats will never go into coalition with the Tories.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Deborah.
Okay, fine. But that is absolutely true.
William, can you conclude?
I'll just say very briefly. It's one of our manifesto pledges. We're putting £6 billion a year into the NHS to save it. We will also be closing down the internal market within the NHS. We will make the NHS much less reliant on outside sources. How is it possible in a modern, caring, compassionate society that people can make profit out of something? It's not acceptable. I'm just going to tell you the story very quickly. I worked quite a lot in Sweden. I'm very lucky. I was very ill in Sweden about 2 years ago. I'm fine now. I had to have an ECG, I had to have a lumbar puncture, I had to have an MRI or something. My EHIC card was out of date. Sweden, as you may know, is a country very high taxation, but very, very, very good benefits. Their roads are clean, their hospitals are clean, their social housing is of very high quality, their schools work wonderfully well. My bill for this, I was dreading it because my EHIC card was out of date, so I had all those very expensive procedures. My bill was £350.
Wow.
Very impressive. It was very, very cheap, and I'm very, very grateful to the Swedish Society for providing me with that opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, it's time. So I'm going to ask the three candidates to summarise. I'll give them each 3 minutes, and I think we will start with William.
Okay. Right, okay, well I'm going to do this from a slightly different point of view, because I'm going to say what I say to everybody who is not quite sure whether they should be voting Green or not. And I'll start off by announcing the result of the election, which is, of course, Dawn Butler will be returned for Brent Central. I don't think there's much doubt about that. However, I doubt if there are very many Conservative voters here, and I think, well, I don't know quite what's going to happen with the Lib Dem vote, but for the Green Party, what I'd like you to think about as far as the Greens are concerned, we have 40,000 members. There are 40,000 members of the Green Party. Labour have 500,000 approximately. We have one MP, the remarkable Caroline Lucas. Yeah. On that basis, the Labour Party should only have 12 MPs. We get one MP for 40,000 members, okay? And so on and so on and so on. Our electoral system has to change. 70% of the votes, approximately, in the country go to the Conservatives and to the Labour Party. What I beg of you to think is that a vote for the Green Party is a drop in the tide that is coming of electoral reform. We have to have a different electoral system. This first past the post, it's out of date, it is unfair, it is undemocratic. The only vote that counts in each constituency is the one vote that tips somebody into the winning position. All the other votes are miscounted. They don't matter. And this is not fair, it is not equitable, and it is not democratic. The other plea that I would make for the Green Party is that we have no funds. The Labour Party gets some money from various of the trade unions. The Conservatives get high net worth individuals to give money to them, and the corporations. I'm not quite sure where Lib Dem money comes from.
Same place.
Same place. We exist purely on small donations. I had to pay for my election leaflet. It costs £500 for the deposit to be paid for me to stand. If we don't get 5% of the vote in Brent Central, that money is lost. And that is money that we could use for more leaflets, for more campaigning, for more fighting for a better society. So please do think about voting Green. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, William.
The Liberal Democrats are the party of Remain. We believe, and have always believed, that we have to stay in the European Union. So I am asking you to put your vote towards staying in the European Union. It will increase our prospects in the future. It will make us a more prosperous and a safer society. We will have the proverbial brighter future that's on all our ads. I really, really believe that. What I also believe is that this is an election where there should be more than two choices. We have here on the left side, we have the party of Jeremy Corbyn. Now I imagine the people in this room, and I can tell that this is a very, very pro-Corbyn crowd here today. And I'm not even going to talk about Boris, because I think all the Conservatives have gone from the room, or the Conservative, the very loud Conservative, has departed. But I will ask you to reflect, if you haven't already made your mind up, but I think most people have here, on the leadership qualities of Jeremy Corbyn. Now, we haven't talked about the problems within the Labour Party. We haven't.
Excuse me, can the candidate finish? Please. Can you please stop? Each candidate should have the right to
I like our
summarise.
That's why we're listening to you.
That's why this country's in the debt, because you fight with the Tories.
Excuse me. No personal comments, please.
As I said, this is a hostile environment for
It's
me.
not hostile. Talk about yourself and your party.
My party.
Could you stop? Thank you.
I have a leader who I believe is a leader for the future. She is a young woman with small children, and she wants to do the best by her family and by the party and her policies. That's why we want a brighter future with remaining in the EU. That's why we are fighting for this everywhere. We understand that Brent Central is a very strong Labour seat. We understand that, but I'm here today to tell you that there is an alternative. I'm here today to tell you that the Liberal Democrats hold the centre ground. Now, okay, people here may be very much Corbyn friendly, but there is another. The Liberal Democrats will fight for the future. They will give you money for jobs. They will fight for the NHS. They will raise money on a proper tax everyone basis to get the right kind of money for the NHS. And they are the party of the future. And as the Green candidate said, if we have proper voting system with proportional representation, we would have a plurality of voices in Parliament, and that would make Parliament a better place.
Yes.
So I say, vote Liberal Democrat.
So there may be an empty chair for the Tories, but the same rubbish is coming out of the Lib Dem's mouth. Let me tell you something. Denigrating the leader of the Labour Party is no way to win an election. If you can't win an election on your policies, then you can't win an election. Do you understand? At the end of the day, what are they running from? They're running from. And heckling at the back is going to help, because you cannot bully me. Let me tell you, you cannot bully me. Because we are going to get a social problem. We are going to change this country. So you can try and shut me down. You can try and bully my leader. You can try and give the money to the rich. But we are going to change this country. These manifestos that I have here are the manifestos of hope. They are the ways that we can change this country for the better. We've had 9 years of a Lib Dem and a Tory government, and we are sick and tired of it. We've had enough of it. We've had enough of the Lib Dems voting for a Tory government. And it's time for change. It's time for real change. I take no vote for granted. So when you go there, vote for Labour. But tell you what, call your friends, call your family, tell them that the country needs to go in a different direction. We are sick and tired of the Lib Dem and Tory coalition, and it's time for a Labour government to change this country.
Thank you very much, Dawn. Thank you to all of you for your range of questions, which enabled us to this evening to explore the various responses from the different candidates. Thank you to William, thank you to Dawn, and thank you to Deborah. And vote on Thursday.